Elaine, I don't know why you're surprised at rapport conversations. We've had these for the past couple episodes. Hey, welcome back to more Unicorn Overlord. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time, you already know the deal. Same with what we're doing this time. Elaine and Gloucester. If I may, Gloucester, hear that during your time as Prince Ludwig's retainer, you also saw to the well-being of Dragonhold's desert. The distance between Sildrag and the southern reaches of the nation are great indeed. Why would you agree to such duties? When I was still but a child, too young to even remember. In truth, my parents were rescued while stranded in the desert. Such I've always felt an indelible debt to the kind people of those sands, that which only grew when my sister married a man from the region. She had accompanied Prince Ludwig on a survey of its dunes, serving the role of his attendants amidst the scorching heat. Then she met a handsome young man in one of the desert's many towns. They grew close rather quickly, of course, and were betrothed not long after. The day of their wedding brought greater sorrow than joy. The hall was filled with naught but hateful whispers of the man's low-born desert ancestry. Rather than worry for themselves, my sister and her fiancé began to fear the world into which they would soon bring children. They knew in that moment that something had to change. That this nation must become a land where all lives are celebrated, not only those lucky enough to be born to a noble house. But then will my nieces and nephews know true peace, without the pain of prejudice heavy upon them. It's an admirable dream, Gloucester. Once I had begun to realize, in fact, that my mind was so cruelly stolen from me. Now all I seek to bring is an end to this war as quickly as possible. And once we have, I resume my work to remake Dragonhold in earnest. Help me, my prince. Together we shall wage a brighter future for this land, and all its people. I believe it's ever yours, Gloucester. Yeah, every so often we see minor typos. It's not like anything huge, but I mean, most games are gonna have their typos. Elaine and Prim. Do you and Hilda tend to get along, Prim? For our sisters, can't imagine two more different people. Well, thinking back on it now, I've always felt this impossible distance between us. She excelled at anything she laid her hands on, while I was a bit more clumsy and reserved. Once you met her wyvern, that distance only grew all the greater. I don't understand why. Though I'd often watch from afar whenever she went into the mountains to greet her newfound friend. Well, I wanted to be close to her. But being the portly girl I was, I feared the wyverns were more likely to eat me than welcome my presence. I hadn't realized they feed on humans. Oh, they don't. I was just young and afraid more than anything. Life went on as normal for a while, Hilda braving the mountains alone, with me following behind at a distance. Till one day a band of wyvern poachers found me and took me captive. How do you end up getting away? Hilda and her friend came to rescue me, of course. And from that day forth, the three of us spent time together just about every day. Meaning you finally had the bond of sisterhood you desired. Exactly. Or, at least I did. The plague struck her home not long after, and I left the region in search of anything that might lead to a cure. But that just makes me even happier that I finally got the chance to see her again. Thank you for that, Elaine. I don't think it actually shows in her art. I can check wherever Prim is. Yeah, it doesn't really show in her art, but I would kind of like if she was, you know, maybe a little bit chubbier. It's kind of, it fits with the character, so, you know. But I get it, it's, might be off model or whatever. I'll not claim to mind, Hilda, but it appears the wyvern has mistaken me for Midday Snack. It's been biting my hair for some time now, rather forcefully I might add. It seems he likes you, Elaine. Don't worry now, there's nothing to be afraid of. He simply wishes to hearten you through all the hardships you endure, day after day. It should come as an honor, really. And it does, most certainly, yet I fear my life is at risk if this continues any longer. Please, I'll not hear a word of such spurious jokes. Truth, he often does this for me as well, whenever I find myself in a fit of melancholy. Could it be that you're feeling uneasy about something, Elaine? I hadn't thought it would be that obvious. Of course, I know that nothing will come from agonizing over the matter, yet being a soldier under my command never grows any less painful. Grief I'm all too familiar with, albeit under different circumstances. It's true that nothing torments the mind more than such sacrifice, but the good of the many will always outweigh the suffering of the few. All we can do now is try to minimize our losses, while ever striving to deliver peace to this world. Expect no less from the man who seeks to be king. Hilda. Elaine, is that blood on your forehead? Remember to never be consoled by a wyvern again. I feel like Prim probably understands. I wouldn't be surprised if Hilda's unnamed wyvern was also a fan of doing that to good old little sis Prim. let's grab some star iron. Dang it. Another corn ash as well. Pretty lucrative region right there. Hilda and Unifi. That's some wyvern you got there, Hilda. He's gorgeous, really. Oh, you have a keener eye for beauty than most in our army. Though he was always rather admired for his looks back home. Especially when it came to battle. There's no sight quite like a wyvern tearing an enemy soldier apart. Yeah, I can barely take my eyes off him once he gets going. You must really love wyverns where you're from, huh? Unfortunately, no. You must consider them fearful beasts and stay away as possible. Probably as far as possible. Few humans are willing to ride them, and even fewer wyverns are willing to trust us. This makes you too special, huh? Yes, in a sense it was almost a stroke of fate that we met. I was still but a child at the time. A gifted child at that, if you don't mind me saying. The children always resented me for it, too. Took their frustrations on me after torturous day after torturous day. One day I couldn't stomach it any longer and ran off to the hillside where wyverns were known to nest. You mean by yourself? Indeed. I really assumed my tormentors lacked the courage to follow me. Upon finally reaching the hillside, I came across an all too familiar scene. A wyvern here, the most handsome of his brood, was being viciously attacked by his very siblings. It was a surprise, of course, to see the natural world behave as cruelly as our own. But that shock soon gave way to blind rage, and I found myself foolishly attempting to intervene in the struggle. The moments before the creature's claws pierced my skin, my friend here ushered me upon his back and took to the skies. Needless to say, we've been inseparable ever since. And after we returned home, my own harassers never dared speak ill of me again. Never realized you had two had so much in common. Oh no, you know? There's none I can ever trust more in all the world. I mean, the gifted at everything archetype is kind of... it's hit or miss for me. It doesn't really show in Hilda's gameplay, so I think that's fine, but... yeah. We are... what is the big thing with that? It's just really strong. We'll grab the Trinitarain. And... that's probably good. Templar items are a bit outclassed at this point. Well, probably more than a bit. But regardless, we still have more rapport. What we got over here? Virginia and Leia. She's also willing to do anything I ask of her. I wonder if there's a limit to how far she'll go. Perhaps put that to a little test. Leia, I just had a sudden craving for fish, and I was hoping I might catch and cook one for myself. Would you care to join me? Gladly, your ladyship, as long as you stay within relative proximity to the fort. Then come, we have a cornian trout to hook. If you don't mind, Leia, I was thinking we might head into the mountains to ensnare a local boar next. Once we return with our quarry, we can roast it whole for a nice hearty meal. As you wish. I'll summon one of our hunters at once to prepare our packs for a productive journey. Thank you, I look forward to it. Tell me something, Leia. Why do you not flinch in the face of my exorbitant demands? I'm not certain what you mean. I've grown quite accustomed to your whims over the years, and today's requests are no different. You saying I'm always this unreasonable? For me, my princess, serving as your attendant is already far beyond my duty as the Drakenhold to the In light of that truth, nothing you ask would be too excessive. Fair point, I suppose. I admit there have been some occasions where I felt you overstepped your welcome. Yeah? All the same, I've witnessed firsthand how truly fearless you can be as well. It's a trait that has granted me more courage than you might think. It almost makes me forever proud to serve at your side, my princess. That's how you feel, is it? In that case, I've got plenty more requests where that came from. And no one else I would rather turn to than you, Leia. Thank you, your ladyship, though do try to keep within reason, would you? Was it Leia that... was it Leia and Virginia that had the conversation about the three-headed beast? Because, like, I don't know, that feels like a pretty out-of-the-way request, pretty exorbitant demand. Get a refrigerant, Clive. Eddie Monica. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Oh, not at all. And for the record, I would be glad to drink with you. But Monica. And so would Clive, it seems. Lead the way, Adele. Once this war is over, you think we're gonna start families of our own? Why, is there a lucky lady you had in mind? What? No! I mean, I do get approached a lot, but I've honestly never been great at talking to women. Ever since I was young, I was damn certain I wanted to be a knight. I spent most of my time on the training grounds with sweaty old men now out in town with girls. There's Clive here. I think you've had enough for the evening, Adele. What do you mean? I'm barely even drunk yet. And besides, I know you agree with me. We had brides of our own, maybe things would be different. All the better for it to be someone gorgeous like you, Monica. Spoken like a true drunkard, thank you. Speaking of betrothal, though, I believe Clive here was once engaged himself. No, wait just a sec. Is she telling the truth, Clive? Adele, please, mind your volume. I was once sworn to be married, yes, but that arrangement has years since been dissolved. Wait, all that time we spent in the Ash and Blue, you weren't actually single? I thought you and me were the same, lone wolves all our lives. Calm yourself, Adele. You, Monica, cease this mockery of our past at once. Wait, our past? Ah, yes, I suppose I forgot to mention. Clive's former fiancé is no other than myself. Was that truly necessary, Monica? Adele? You're alright, Adele. I think the shock may have broken him. I do like the fact that Clive and Monica can still get along. It's a nice little detail. Will I appreciate that? Elated calm. Allow me to thank you once more for granting my refuge in your army, my prince. There's nothing to man's gratitude, Cole. Your aid is the most welcome boon in these difficult times. And what of Lady Melisandre? I pray she hasn't given you too much trouble. Not particularly, no. Now that's a relief to hear. Strange, I would have expected her to pursue him day and night in search of a marriage proposal, in a mere lover's tryst. It's a concern for the prince which stays her hand, or perhaps an uncharacteristic bout of shyness. Colm? Whatever the case, it's best I not interfere in the affairs of her heart. Pardon me for saying so, but I shall still treat my lady with all the love and kindness that she deserves. I couldn't manage no less. You do mean in my role as her commander, yes? You're a fine intendant indeed, Colm. It is plain to see how deeply you care for her. Such loyalty provides great comfort in times of need, much as Joseph does for me. Ah, how I wish that were true. I may still stand in her service for now. Lady Melisandre is already a woman grown. It demands every ounce of effort I have to ensure my counsel does not come across as intrusive or overbearing. I wonder if Joseph bears the same worries regarding our relationship. Thank you, Colm. I shall speak with him tonight and allay whatever concerns may be carrying. Which is a wonderful idea, my prince. I'm certain he'll be pleased to know just how you feel. Thinking on it now, I suppose my lady does the same for me at times. Perhaps it is that shared kindness which makes her and the prince such an ideal match for one another. Now, I haven't decided who I'm going to canonically go with for the Ring of the Maiden, but I'll probably just end up doing whoever feels like whoever's scene I like the most. I mean, we already did that. Elaine and Clive. If I may, Clive, how do you feel about joining my royal guard after peace is restored to her land? Joseph has told me much of the groundwork you laid in establishing our liberation. In the many moons you and he labored in hopes of one day repelling Zenora's onslaught. Your strength of will would prove invaluable in my service. I'm certain of that. Your Highness, I'm truly honored to hear you utter such praise. And as you may know, I have little left to call my own in this world. No family to speak of and no retainers to my name. Yet that is precisely why I must return home at the conclusion of this war. Take stewardship of the land my father gave his life to protect. My mother and sister would surely have wanted the same had they only lived to see the day. Very well. Not fault you for respecting their wishes. I'll ask that you continue to march beside us until that day comes. As if I could ever wish for anything else. I swear it on my very name, your highness. And thank you for believing me worthy of a place among your royal guard. This badge I shall wear with pride for the rest of my days. Already laying the groundwork for peacetime? Very smart thing to do. Elaine Renault. Hello there, Renault. Regarding your training earlier. Your Highness, please. You ought not to make a habit of engaging me in conversation. You may mistakenly be struck by a stone originally intended for me. Someone has been casting rocks at you. Not yet, but many in these lands surely harbor great resentment for the deeds I've committed. And should a stone come your way, I shall parry it, and advise the culprit never to do such things again. Nobody deserves to live under the constant threat of attack for now. That includes you. Forgive me the impudence, Your Highness. But at times that kindness is akin to a thorn in my heart, driving itself deeper with every word. Save your sympathy for one who's worthy of it, rather than waste its blessings on a man such as I. Never plagued by guilt, I see. Yet you, Renault, did nothing wrong. Perhaps not consciously, I can never forgive myself for the sins committed in my name. Allow me to do so in your stead. If you stand at my side, I want you to think only of what's to come, forgetting full the wrongs of your past. Why are you doing this for me, Your Highness? I'm certain you're aware Zenora's magic robs its prey of its very lives. Those of which are not at fault for what transpires under evil's grasp. They, too, are victims in a sense. You refuse to abandon them as the rest of the world has. No, I wish to help. I understand, Your Highness. I shall respect those wishes in whatever manner possible. And in your presence I shall once more serve as knight of my people, as I did so many years ago. Like, guilty for the sins, feeling guilt for the sins of their past archetype. I also enjoy that a bit. Just best leader any of us could have ever asked for. That's quite enough you just for one evening, Adele. That's what you consider laying off the ale as well. But you agree with me, don't you? You've gotta! I mean, imagine being younger than us and leading a whole army by yourself. That might sound kind of weird to say, but I'm proud of him, you know? A guy like him's gonna be a great king, I'm sure of it. Down with Zenora! Long live the amazing King Elaine! Adele, please, there can be no telling what enemy soldiers might lie within earshot. Oh, it's a fine evening we're having, is it not? Your Highness, what are you doing here? Now this was worth coming to town for. A word, Adele. Please tell me you didn't hear all that. I mean, seems your penchant for drunken outbursts has finally caught up to you. Forgive me, Your Highness. I'll not touch another drop of ale again, I promise. Calm yourself, Adele. I wasn't planning to scold you. In fact, I'm glad to hear all you think of me. Not a bit embarrassed by it. Thank you for saying so, Your Highness. You're lucky he's as generous man as he is, Adele. I wish he would have been cast from our army entirely. Yeah, it's a character depth you would have never seen with Adele had you not gone into his support conversations. That he really likes getting drunk. Speaking of getting drunk, what's with the staring, kid? Don't get got something stuck in my beard. Not at all. I was thinking you remind me of a warrior, actually, from an old legend I heard years past. So it goes, he was a frequent drunk and would spend many of his evenings deep in a flagon of mead. So in secret, not wanting others to learn of what he perceived as a shortcoming. During the day, however, he felt countless enemies and an unparalleled fighter. The reticent one at that. A person of few words and even fewer friends. So one afternoon, a local bandit devised a plan to finally lay the great warrior low. Treated our hero to round after round of potent drinks, thinking he had means to deplete the man's strength. And all that slackened was the warrior's inhibition. He spoke freely and eloquently while subduing the bandit. And as rumor spread of his endearing deeds, he was quickly beloved by everyone in town from that day forth. There's some story, kid. What's it got to do with me? I'm never quiet. Not all that blood either. Well, then we haven't got with drinking. As well as your dauntless strength. And you are well loved, I might add. I admit, I've also seen you steal a few sweets of ale before battle yourself. I didn't think you noticed that. I'll not tell you to stop either, as long as you remember to exercise moderation. The battlefield is no place for life's luxuries, of course, but depriving ourselves entirely is a certain way to damage morale. Don't worry, I won't take that kindness here for granted. And once you're king, maybe you and me could share a drink to celebrate. And I look forward to the day, Warden. Warden's a very lovely character, too. Lots of good folkses. Clive and Giuseppe. Here we are, the province of the Ashen Blue. 10 long years have passed since that fateful day, yet I finally returned. Owing wholly to you, yes. You're not persevered in pursuing my foolish dream. This moment would have ever remained more than a mere fantasy. I was only willing to do so because I had nothing left to hold dear. The days when I seized these lands, I lost everything. Indeed. If only our father's bold defiance, I wager you'd not be standing here now. All the same, perhaps Serena would have been a wiser course of action. Serena slaughtered the entire house as punishment. My mother, my sister, and even our retainers were put to the sword. The only soul spared was me. I often wonder, Sir Joseph, was my father's decision the correct one? Not only was our family slain, but the very province he sought to protect failed to Zenora in a matter of days. It's a question which besets my mind nigh every time I close my eyes. Yet, perhaps that's why I find it easier to simply march forward, spear in hand. I can only assume I inherited such stubbornness from my father. Even so, I would not see you held prisoner to your past. Your deeds have saved a great many in these lands. They shall see you save a great many more before this war is concluded. You understand, Clive? I do. Thank you, Sir Joseph. And with that, next few more support conversations taken care of. And that will do it for this time. Next time, yeah, you already know what's gonna be going down. But until then, See you guys later.